Hey guys, how's it going? It's February 21st, 2018. And yeah, I'm back here. Kind of surprised. Well, I don't know if it's surprising or not. I figured I'd keep this in the back of my thoughts anyways. Believe it or not, I actually loaded up Run 8. That's how crazy it has been getting. That I looked at it, and the cool thing was I looked at it, and I had this idea yesterday, and I was thinking about it a little bit, and I think I even let me start this. Not at the top of the hour, but that's okay. Let me just start that before I go yapping too much. So I was going in, and at one point I said it'd be kind of cool to have the visual, but be able to actually dispatch. So I thought, okay. And I started thinking of the various territories and what I liked or didn't like. Now, the problem, as I've mentioned all along with California, is it's too big. So I thought, okay, let me take a look at it a little bit deeper. But then, do I go with something, and I'm looking at the various territories, and I'm thinking along the lines of, well, I could set up the schedules and spawn them in. I could even go so far if I wouldn't do it, but I even was thinking of going so far as to an RTS2 type system that would actually do the waybills. I thought about it a little bit. Actually, I looked at an external dispatcher because it's the only program currently that's out there right now that will do it. That'll actually take a train that you basically spawn on a main line and allow you to turn it into an AI train without having to go to it and clicking on it. So I thought that's kind of cool. It defeats the purpose of how I want them to automatically be AI, but that's okay. At least it's something. But it would have to be done from a dispatcher's point of view, which, for how it is, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool, I suppose. I can do split screens, all kinds of different things if I really wanted to. I'm not in a position to get another, mouse or anything like that, but okay, I got a slow order active here. Block 142. Now here's where I wish I had comments. Kind of like what external dispatcher does. Just to remember, what is the slow order? It's brings it down to 25. Okay. Wish there was some type of indicator on here, just to give me a visual reminder. But I'll try to remember Birch. Well, I don't know how long that'll last. For all I know, there could be other. I don't know if they're display, lost alert, performance, train graph. I don't believe there's the. Well, no, that's all of them. Well, Sunday and Monday and Tuesday was a slow order there. This is some of the weird stuff that TD3 does, but I don't think it does the greatest job at. That I'd love to improve upon. I love the random train scheduling in this. Something that I was really kind of hoping for Run 8 to do, but in regards to slow orders, even track warrants, I'm not a big fan of how it does it. It sticks to that schedule. It always goes by that schedule, and that's about it. So not necessarily. I don't know how long I'm going to do that. I was going to do this for a little while, but I can tell that I'm not as in the mood for this than I was last night. And it's kind of I'm got a feeling out process with me right now. It's the last long, well, how would I say it? It's the last long group of time this week. I was getting into YouTube, and I was just like, okay, I cannot get into YouTube again, because if I start going down that road, I know where that's going to lead me. It's going to lead me just regretting it. So, but no, I went into, I did go into Run 8. I checked out California. I checked out External Dispatcher. What I was thinking of doing was dispatching BNSF versus UP instead of dispatching UP. UP is not as, how would you say? I miss dispatching on needles. I really do. Not because it's simple, and even Cajon for that matter. I enjoy dispatching Cajon sub as well. But the way the spawns are, the only one that really works good is what I had set up for Bakersfield Project. I don't know if it was the Bakersfield Project or the original Mojave sub. Because you can spawn a train out of Bakersfield, run the entire Mojave sub, and then you can spawn trains coming out of Highland. So, you know, there's no issues there. As long as you can spawn them coming out of Highland, basically you can run the majority of UP territory.
Train arrive at one territory.
But that's about that. At that point, you run into issues. You can spawn what was the original Needles territory. Although I don't think I would be, you know, that would be a little bit too, that's not enough. I mean, it could be somewhat busy, but I shouldn't say that. It would be busy, but it's, you kind of want more to that. At least I do. I you know, just to have the double track. I used to like having the BNSF section. How did we used to do it? I think I used to dispatch the BNSF single track main line from Mojave. Yep.
Train arrive at one territory.
Through into Barstow, and I had everything on the Needle sub all the way to Needles, and I was just a little section to the west before we handed off to Cajon. That was the handoff. You'd have that handoff, and you had the handoff of I'm trying to think now. I think the other handoff would be just trying to think here. Well, yeah, sorry, the other handoff would be UP at BNSF Junction, and I believe that was a nice little split there too. So there's really no spawn point to do that coming out of, and what I mean by spawn point is AI, of course. which only leaves, and it's not so much that it leaves you, well, it leaves you with two options. Either you start spawning trains manually, few options actually. You spawn trains manually, you spawn trains, you spawn them manually, or you spawn them manually with the assistance of something like RTS, which of course can't do it in version 2, at least not at this point. So, I mean, it's possible. Do I really want to go through the trouble just to have nice looking trains? You know, or something to basically see while I dispatch? Not really. It'll get, I know in my heart of hearts it would get old really quick. So I'm not falling for that that distraction again. It's too much. And this I can see, this is, you know, there's limitations to this as well. Don't get me wrong, I like dispatching. But yeah, it's just like, no. I like dispatching, but there's certain things that it gets, you know, a little bit. The real dispatching process, I would envision, involves a lot more with communications as well. Not as much, but a little bit more of, how would you say? Like, there's not as much radio communication so much, but something that's interactive a little bit, and interactive in a sense, but you're kind of connected into your own world. Now that doesn't necessarily, I'm not necessarily saying multiplayer, because multiplayer creates its own interactions, but where you have handoffs. Now we used to have something similar set up in one of my original RTS concepts back before Run 8, and that was where we had 3 territories and we did those handoffs. I don't like how it worked. We really had to make some handoff type things to work, so kind of goes full circle back to the whole RTS development thing going forward. Which way do I go? And I'm liking the part of a bigger picture. Like you're only one section of a bigger picture, so I'm kind of liking that idea.
Train arrive at one territory.
That to me is more appealing. But and also the fun side where you can basically take over anything, and everything is AI and everything's going. So I'm still focused on the whole being able that the dispatcher or AI would be able to run everything automatically, but still having that ability. So I'm not sure where I'm going with that, to be honest. I haven't given up yet on the tower. I just have a lot of learning, and I know it is going to be a huge learning curve. I know in my gut it's going to be a huge learning curve, and that's the part of me that just like, ugh. So I'm kind of really feeling, not that I can't do it, I'm feeling that I'm not going to, it's almost as if I'm putting too much emphasis on money as opposed to having fun. And that's where I was kind of getting at yesterday. So this guy here, if I recall, yes, he's got to get at the Savannah platform, which really he can't really do much because he's got a 531. He's got a 522, which is really strange. So I guess he just holds out. I guess he's been so efficient that he's just there now. Okay. So we'll see if I get into this tonight. If I start getting bored or whatever, then I won't. Let me just, so this clear here is an automatic clear going on here. Let's see what we got coming up. So we got Y2A1 Q104, which I already have set up. I will bring it. Well, I'll do that in a second. I've got other tools that I can use to get me a little bit further. 12 and 8.3. Oh, that's an interesting one. So that's a 538. And then a 542, which is pretty much going to be within minutes of that. Okay, so we got Fitzgerald set up. If I'm looking at this way, we're looking at... See, now I'm getting back into it. Now I'm getting into the thing. I kind of didn't want to go here tonight. I was kind of hoping that something was going to lead me to other ideas. I'm kind of almost in a brainstorming mood, in a way. That's, I guess, where my thought pattern's going at the moment. I want to start thinking of ways. Somebody told me not too long ago, I always find a way. Well, I haven't quite found it yet. It's just the other thing too. While I'm at it now, that I can think of certain things. Talking Run 8, there was some interesting information that I started finding out about today in regards to LA almost being ready, so that they're in beta or something like that. So that's interesting. There was a time where I was ready to purchase, actually not too long ago, where I said if anything I'm going to purchase, the next thing I might purchase for Run 8 would be LA. I'm going to probably do a wait and see on that, and just basically wait and see. I can't, and hopefully I'll find out more information about it. Hopefully I'll get enough information for people who do get it, and then I'll make it. I'll think about it. But
Train arrived at one territory.
I don't think I'm going to make it a have to get type thing, in other words. Okay, let's deal with this here. So we know he's going to be coming in behind him. I may change that. In fact, I'm going to. So within 2 blocks, he's okay, so that's why I did that. I wasn't too sure if he would get up there quick enough, but considering the fact that I really want to get him going, I'm going to let him go first, then I will stack him, and I will then stack him. Then he'll head out this way. So I'll clear him behind. He's probably not going to be doing much until oh, 5:25 or so. So I'm not going to worry too much about getting him any further than that. Maybe I'll bring it down to here. Other than that, no, I don't see it going beyond South Ogeechee at the moment. Coming up to 589 at Folkston. or sorry, to 598. Bring it up to 17. In fact, I'll bring it up to the Crawford switch at least, because he's going to be headed that way, but I gotta wait and see what's going on here.
Train stopped, waiting signal.
He works Savannah. That would be this guy right there. But no, that's another. Okay. Yeah. Nothing I can do about him. Only one platform track. Okay. So this is one of the ones where, well, no, I'm pretty certain I know what's going on here. Definitely get the intermodal, keep him going. But we'll bring him up to Crawford. Stack some signals in behind him to Folkestone. Of course, I did say I am going to Folkestone very soon. Another few weeks I'll be up there. Okay, 3 weeks from now, or less than 3, actually 3 weeks from now, I'll be getting ready to head back north. Jessup, okay. So we're 581. That's, I'll give him one more. So I'm going to have 2 trains waiting. He's just going to be leaving in the next few minutes, and everything else is going. So I'll let that go for a few minutes here. So, this is what I like about this territory too. It's a little bit relaxing. If I wasn't doing YouTube or talking or whatever, and if I had housework to do, I can do that as well. So I also had mentioned about this whole thing with fact, I probably, oh, what was it? About donations. Originally, when I got all gung-ho about this, I was thinking, yeah, I'll get a team of programmers, and I'll get this, and I'll get that. The problem with that automatically was my first train of thought was profit margins. I thought, if I do something like that, I'm going to have a big team, and a lot of times with these projects, I mean, I credit Run 8 for being able to do what they do with whatever percentage of the market they get, which I have no idea what that really is, but they're certainly, as far as I'm concerned, one of the more popular, not the most popular. A lot of casual train simmers do not know what Run 8 is. You have to get into some really the hardcore, the train sim side to really know what Run 8 is all about, because a casual eye candy user probably is not aware of Run 8. Casual Rail fans are not aware of Run 8. I know that for a fact. So unless you're into the simming and you've been around enough and you're on some of the forums, that's when you start finding out about some of these things. So, and with that being said, this is a niche hobby, and not everybody who likes trains likes to run simulators. Not everybody who likes trains likes to run model railroads either. Not anybody who likes to run model railroads likes to run simulators. There's so many micro niches within the niche, as I like to say. You can go even further. Those that are in simulators, not everybody likes dispatch, not everybody likes multiplayer, not everybody likes single player, not everybody, and so on and so on. You get the picture. So I looked at the post. I didn't reply to it, and that was a post that was on the forum. Really, there's only 2 people posting on the forums lately. You might as well have these conversations in email, quite frankly, at this point. And if it was, I wouldn't be talking about it on YouTube, especially not, private conversations. Keep it private. But since it's on my Wikia and it's going on the account and everybody sees it, well, then I'll talk about it. But yeah, I saw a post and there was reference about maybe misunderstanding something. Whether it was misunderstood or not, ultimately I would decide what I would or wouldn't use anyways. Always been that way. So, I guess ideally I was looking at possibly seeing a few things here and there, taking a look at it, or even seeing samples. But other than that, I started looking into basically what the legal ramifications of all that is, and there's a lot of risk on my end. So with checking in with some advice and thinking about what it is I'm really wanting to do, at this point it's something that I'm not interested in any further. And I know, and this is why when I saw comments like, either you're all in or something like that, or no, I shouldn't say that, because I was the one that said I was all in, which is kind of funny, because I'm far from it. I've have so many friggin' escape hatches, it's not funny. Or excuses, I guess, is probably the lack of a better term. But yeah, it's either full effort or whatever, then blah blah blah. And right then and there, that was really the indicator that was just like, well, no, I'm doing this as a hobby. Of course, I want to make money, but I'm doing it as a hobby, and really, that's the balance line.
Train stop, waiting signal.
That's the balance line that I've been at, is because if I turn it into a business and I'm no longer doing hobbies, I see what happens when you've got the amount of work that's being done on Run 8 and what have you. I know firsthand some of the work that these guys put into it, to where they're never on servers, they're never on anything. They're just constantly adding to it and adding to it. So it's not easy. So I make no, and I'm not trying to, I have my frustrations and all and blah blah blah, but I understand that the sacrifice, especially for somebody, even though I'm fortunate enough to work locally and not have to work that many hours. It's just I'm starting to think now that there may be other alternatives out there to make extra money than to turn my hobby into a business. So that it's just, and in a micro niche, it's very difficult. And what you're seeing in kind of a lot of what's kind of got it through my head was, if it's 90% somebody else's, it shouldn't even be mine to begin with. Honestly, it should not be mine. And I don't want it. I don't want to be part of it. And I, other than if somebody else is doing it and, they need somebody to want to beta test or something like that for free, of course. Or check something out, I'd be more than happy to. There are other RTS-like programs apparently that I've been told that that they are gonna let me in on it. So, yeah, great. Love to see it. Might use it too. So, it kind of sounded depressing, but it's, I feel bad about it because I understand that there was a lot of work that was done. And I was just like, well, I didn't expect that much work. I know they were trying some things. I'm just like, ugh. No, that's not a good feeling, because I don't, like I said before, I don't want to bring people around. That's why I don't have FundMe pages or Patreons or anything like that. I just don't want to do it. So watch this. This'll clear itself up here. What time is he going for? 5:31. That's a weird schedule. I find that very strange, that passenger, because there's only one way of getting him in there. There's no other way to bring him down except here. It's odd. Oh well. Because no matter, he left on time, unless he was late. There's a possibility he was late and that was the 12 time, but I don't think so. Not 5:22. Yeah, whatever. Okay, let's moving on. So we got a 5:38 coming out. Oh yeah, I was going to and then a 542 A1 intermodal. I didn't really check the properties on this one. No, that's okay. So he's the back end of it. Q173. Alright. Now I gotta see. So what time's he coming out at? He's coming out at 5:38, which is coming right up. Interesting. Well, I'm going to have to bring him through first. And then I'll bring him over. There we go. Okay, I was going to start at this side. 567. looking at reversal speeds now. Change that signal. Yeah, I'm going to bring him through first. I'm pretty certain on Doctortown. I'm not certain of the rest. 13, 23, 33, 43. I mean, it could be Ludowiski, but I'm not going to worry about it. Where are you going? You're going A1. 624. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough there for now. I've got him following up the Folkestone. Oops. Yeah, that's right. Alright. Easy enough. So this is a little more relaxed than well, I shouldn't say that. It's not more relaxed than I like it, but... Now what do I got going on here? Oh, really? Oh, that's okay. You're gonna make it. You'll make it. It was a 2-hour warning of a crew change. That's kind of one thing I like how they do crew changes in this as well. Especially if something gets delayed, and it's not perfect, but it does a pretty good job. Okay, I should have forgot to do the guy behind him for the 499.
Train arrived.
Well, I won't worry about it actually. We'll wait and see how it goes. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that because Florida is a little bit more, I don't know if to say forgiving. I guess it is a good idea. This is about the traffic level, give or take, that's in the current Florida route. Mind you, that's going to be expanding too. So, but it would be kind of neat to actually dispatch that through an external dispatcher. So I may still be on the lookout for something like that. Possibly. I can also use some of the various types of utilities. Love to see an AI hump. I really would, but I know that's, probably pushing it. I don't know why it can't, but then again, then you're getting into you got to get into complex scripts when it comes to. I mean, you might be able to hump it, which is okay. Just to be, it really would actually, so that you can basically let it go. I don't know. It's one of those things where, as long as it can handle the knowledge of what could or could not be an overfull. And that'd be kind of cool. But, so I'm kind of curious where TSCAD's going to go. I'm still, it's amazing. And I totally forgot that external dispatcher there was a version that was released for version 2 of Run 8, and I thought version 10 of external dispatcher, I believe, was the last version, because that's the one I have, so I assume that I have the latest and last version that was released. But they never went on beyond, he never went on beyond that. He stopped it there. So you've got a lot of broken, I shouldn't say broken. You've got a lot of programs that don't really. Well, I shouldn't say you have a lot of programs. You really have a lot of lack of fluidity. You've got the external dispatcher, which doesn't cover the latest edition in California side, but it has no coverage for the other routes. I mean, Northeast has got, I guess. No, sorry, Northeast got nothing. And then you have Florida, which has some coverage, so it's too bad. I'll just leave it at that. It's too bad. And then you have the basic F3 dispatcher, which I guess can improve, but I don't think it's their priority to improve it. So, but take it for what you got. I guess there's other things coming on. I'm waiting to see, what some of these other routes they're talking about and what version 3 is going to be. But I turned it on about as fast as I turned it off. I'm just like, I'm seriously thinking about taking my rail driver and redoing my whole setup here. I mean, I can gain some desk space here. It's a very small table that I have.
Late station departure.
Yeah, so what? Boo-hoo. Late station because you didn't give me a chance to do anything with it. No other platforms. Not my fault. Oh well. I just might run this to the top of the hour, and I'm actually getting bored of this already, which isn't a very good sign. There's other territories out there too. That I like the Evansville, Indiana one. I always have enjoyed that one. So 604, we got 21 coming out to 72. I'll just leave that there. For now. And then 72 to A3, 611. All right. Yeah, I don't know how I could have done that any better. It was very strange. Okay. I'll start with this 490. Well, I'll get it going down here. I'm not sure about there yet, which is going to depend upon. That gives me 20. I'll have to wait and make a decision later on that one. I imagine it's going to be Q173, but unless I can get him ahead, and then perhaps I'll plop him over or something, but we'll see. I'll keep him going at least up to Lodge. Probably beyond that. Yeah. I think that's where it's going to be, is going in at North Ludowiski, I would imagine. Although I'm not sure. So he's only 25 miles away, whereas the other one is 15, although the Amtrak will overshadow that. I can see a second meet coming up here. Give him one more through there. Yeah, to Broadhurst. Work Savannah. Bring it up to Nahanta.
Train stopped, awaiting signal.
So Q126 is waiting for him. Now what I could have done had I had him out of the way a little bit quicker is I could have moved him up there and brought him up to Central Junction, but that's okay. I can't stop him now. He's going to be there in 2 minutes, and then yeah, he'll get through there. not much I could have done there really differently. And again, with AI dispatching, it's not about perfection. The humans are always going to be, as crazy as it sounds, you know, much more pattern recognizing. Speed and calculation ability is given to the AIs. Unless if they're doing quite a few calculations, that's fine, but you can't change signals in front of trains anyways, so. Alright, so got him coming out of Crawford. I'll bring him on. Let me just check when the next one is. That's 1427. Perfect. I'll leave him at Doctortown for now. The other guy's doing just fine. So we got about 10 minutes left till the top of the hour. So a little bit shorter tonight. Not a hell of a lot to report at the moment. Just try. I still need some ideas and inspiration, basically, at this point now. And unfortunately, the wiki, I don't get much of it. As soon as you say you're not doing anything with RTS, that's when, or anything of the like. I mean, I certainly have supporters, but the wiki has died just because I'm not posting servers, or have decided that I have no interest in hosting any servers in the immediate future. I'd love to say I should or could or would, or you know, whatever, but it's just doing it. I find there's too much effort involved in it. And it's not that I'm lazy. It has nothing to do with me being lazy. I'm actually at a point right now where I think I'm really trying to find that next idea that I want to go on. I just don't see it in Run 8. But we'll see. It's kind of depressing, as I said before. It's definitely kind of depressing. I mean, the good part is the spring's going to get here, so I'll have a lot of time to get plenty of off-screen time. That should alleviate any feelings of, you know, not getting enough done or anything like that, but now the good thing about YouTube is after a while, after you start watching enough of it, you really get sick of it. You see the same videos and they talk about the same thing, and it just you really start to get sick of it very quick. Sunday, I find, is when it's the freshest because I haven't been bothering with it. So Sunday is the most fresh. By around this time of the week, it kind of gets stale. So Wednesdays used to be the nice push day where I really had that last big amount of time to get a lot of stuff done. And I still do. Don't get me wrong. It's 8:33. Don't really have any intentions on going to sleep early, but you never know at this point. Okay, so that signal's gonna pop itself out. There we go. Looks like this guy's going to take clear shot through. In fact, what I will do, just to make it easier, Since he's a little ways away and we're looking at Ludowiski, yeah, I'm not too sure about that though. How far behind is the other guy? Yeah, that's a ways away. 510. You know, I could probably do that. I think I will. What are we up against here? We're up against a... what do you call it? Alright. Yeah, let me put her on the main. I'd rather give myself that much, and then I could still... yeah, he's at 604, so yeah, I can still bring him out. I still got this siding. And in fact, that siding might come into play for both of them, but we'll see, because it's a pretty long siding. Actually, a lot of these guys are pretty long. Yeah, I was going to say he's 13,000. Yeah, that's what I think of that. Okay, so this worked out pretty good. Although, it didn't go as fast as I thought. That was a vehicle train, okay. He'll be there. Yeah. So this is where, if I was doing the run 8 thing, I could pop into Callahan and take a shot of it if I was doing a similar thing. But there, like I said, there's no real dispatching program right now. I can certainly create a dispatching program. This isn't rocket science. This really isn't. I don't have, you know, I could go with all my skill set and do it. But I really don't need to create a dispatch program if there's already one out there, and there's very little need for improvement. It's kind of like not a, I don't know if you say risk reward. I think it's about a cost and input or output, or basically how much you put into something and how much you get out of it in return, and what you really have to think about the feasibility of those things. I was going to do a TD3 alternative dispatching program. Well, there's a lot of dispatching alternatives out there. But to do something that was an alternative to TD3, well, okay, yeah, it can be improved upon, but after I do all that, what's the real benefit or reward of it? And there are some, don't get me wrong. But I'd rather go with something totally unique. So I think it's within my skill set to possibly do something, but we'll see. I'm going to need a lot of time to think about these things and think about how I want to do them. Because right now, you know, other than that, it's just going back to the drawing board. Is not so much the drawing board, but going back to the grind of learning various new languages. And I think I'm going to have to, whether I like it or not, I'm going to have to keep on learning. It just takes time. I need chips, you know, implant chips where they just basically plugs in all the knowledge. That'd be great. That'd be an awesome invention. Well, it's not that far away, to be honest. And there's scary thoughts of that as well. But anyways. Okay, so he's getting back past back swamp, so I put him in the right spot. I'm going to stop it at the 6 o'clock mark. 21 and then 72. Nice running meat there. There we go. All right. Good enough for now. Not too much more. I really, yeah. Just wanted to make sure. It is this SSM, right? Yep. Awesome. Okay. That is about it for now. So, don't know what I'm going to be doing, if anything, tomorrow. Last night before the weekend, so we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm going to call it. Have a good one. We'll talk.